Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan James. I'm a mindset coach that loves to specifically focus on relationships. And now you guys got me started on making content. It's so funny because like once I start, I don't want to stop because I see so much of like the questions you guys post, or I just hear things that I want to talk about. And so today I want to talk about not every single thought you have matters. And I really think this is so important because it really plays into quality of life. So, for instance, when I work with somebody, there's three goals that I have in mind, which is the first one is accurately identifying and addressing the things that need to be addressed. Number two is doing that in a way that you're comfortable with, which comes down to the wording. And number three is making sure anything you're doing during the day feels good and it's something you enjoy. It's addressing your intrusive thoughts and behaviors, and it's improving your daily quality of life. With that being said, we have to address intrusive thoughts and contradicting behaviors. Sitting around triggered all day long is and ignoring that is not a solution. But some people have gone in the direction of fearing their thoughts. Okay. And so one thing that I want to say is you're human. Okay. Like even if you have a healthy belief system, that doesn't mean you're always going to have positive thoughts. In fact, you can take the word positivity and just throw that out the window because I really don't subscribe to having to be positive or happy all the time. Really, the goal should be to integrate into a version of yourself that allows for authentic expression without projection. Okay. What that means is you're able to accurately discern your reality and give proportional responses to the things that are going on. Okay. So, uh, a lot of people are afraid of the negative thoughts that they have because they don't want them to manifest. Let's talk about that because I think what people need to understand is what is a limiting belief and a projection versus what is an accurate discernment of reality. Okay. So I'm going to just give an example right now. I don't love this example, but it's an extreme and it illustrates the point. Let's say somebody has a belief like all men cheat or all women cheat. Okay. And so they start dating somebody. I'm going to just use a man as an example, but if you're a man listening to this, just swap it. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. But just swap it. Okay. So let's say you're dating a guy and he is committed to you. He checks in with you daily. He makes consistent plans with you. He has displayed absolutely no behaviors that are, you know, showing a lack of trust or that he's doing anything shady or anything that would indicate that he would cheat. Okay. Essentially, he's just like perfect to the degree that somebody can be perfect, right? Like nobody's going to be perfect, but he's checking all the boxes. He's doing everything he should be doing. Okay. So you're having this experience and then you go out to dinner with him and, he goes to the bar to get a drink and you see a woman approach him. And in that moment, you get triggered and start thinking, oh my gosh, is he going to like her? What's going on? Is he going to cheat on me? Like you start feeling really insecure about this woman, but you start having like worries and fears of like maybe he's going to like her or maybe other women approach him when you're not around. And okay, so now what happened in that? And this is why I say it's important not to ignore circumstances. Okay. Circumstantially, there's no evidence to support that this man would cheat on you. Okay. However, because that person holds a belief that all men cheat, even though circumstantially there's no proof or evidence that this person would cheat, their mind is searching for evidence of their actual belief. And this is how beliefs work. You disregard and ignore everything. You would ignore all the signs and all the ways of operating that this guy is trustworthy and see something and misperceive it. Okay. In that moment, they would get triggered and probably react to the circumstance, the perceived circumstance, and start creating issues, not because there actually is an issue, but because they're misperceiving their reality. Okay. So that is an example of having a limiting belief. A limiting belief means there's no circumstantial evidence to support this type of thinking. It's irrational. Okay. Your mind is searching for evidences and creating problems or misperceiving situations. And because it's misperceiving situations, it's creating problems that degrade your ability to sustain the types of connections or results that you want in your life. However, okay, That doesn't mean like the other component to this is there is a objective reality going on and there's a subjective way that we're perceiving it. The goal should be to get into a belief system where you can accurately discern reality closest to the objective reality that is going on and respond to it appropriately and adjust yourself appropriately to set the example and create the things that you actually want to experience in your life. So when you have limiting beliefs, your perception of reality is skewed. The roles you're assuming are perceived per oh my God, the roles you are assuming are skewed, and the ways that you're responding to life are skewed, okay, through your belief system. When you get on into a healthy belief system, though, reality is still occurring. Okay. Sometimes you're going to be annoyed. And here's the thing with emotions. Again, it's not about being positive. This is actually about being authentic, which means you need to form a healthy relationship with all your emotions. You need to be able to experience all your emotions in a regulated way. When you're able to do that, you're not going to like project them in a really toxic or destructive manner. You're going to be able to use your emotions constructively because they're valid. So if I'm annoyed and I'm in a healthy belief system, chances are I'm annoyed for valid reasons, and I need to actually embody this emotion to set the example that, hey, what you're doing is unacceptable. I'm not going to accept this in my life. It annoys me, or I'm angry, I'm upset. And, I'm going to allow myself to feel this emotion and embody it and express it in a healthy way. With that being said, what that means is you're not always going to be happy and positive 24/7. I mean, dominantly, you get into a state when you're in a healthy belief system, you dominantly stabilize into a regulated state of being. You generally feel fulfilled. You're generally happy. You've normalized your wants and needs being met, and you're moving about your life and reality with a healthy, congruent belief system of having your wants and needs being met, your ability to uphold boundaries, normalizing getting what you want out of life, and being able to sustain results either interpersonally, romantic wise, or professionally. Because of that, you generally have a dominantly healthy mental framework going on. Thought forms going on, behaviors are naturally materializing, the automatic thoughts that you're producing are augmented in a healthy, sustainable way towards the things you're normalizing and creating in your life. But that doesn't mean you're devoid of negative thoughts. So you want to get into a belief system where even if you have a negative thought, you're able to just be like, oh, okay, there's probably a reason behind this thought. It's probably logical. And if there's not a reason, maybe I'm just annoyed. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Let me let it go. Here's the thing though, okay? The thoughts that you need to look out for, okay? And this is not to fear your thoughts. Again, the thoughts that you want to be aware of are the ones that are reoccurring. Okay, so you don't need to fear every single thought that you're having. You don't need to have perfect thoughts. You don't need to have a perfect like mindset. Okay, you're growing as an individual as well too. The things you want to look at though are what are the consistent, intrusive, negative thoughts I'm having? And when I say negative, what I mean is they're impacting my quality of life. They're making me feel like crap. They're causing me to materialize compulsive behaviors that I can't control, and they're not enjoyable. Okay. So if you're going about your day and you just have a random thought of like, wow, this person was so annoying, probably, okay, whatever. They were annoying. Move past it. Not a big deal. Don't worry about that. If you notice every single day you're waking up and you're thinking, people don't like me. I don't like myself. I don't like the way that I look. People aren't going to want to be with me. And those are thoughts automatically going on throughout the day. Those are the thoughts that you need to begin to address. Same thing with behaviors, any sort of checking, stalking, obsessive compulsive behaviors that are going on every single day. And I understand some people have OCD and they can't control that. Okay. So if you're being treated for that, then listen to your provider. I'm talking to people that may not have something like that. Okay. But even if you do, you can still address it. And so the way that you want to address negative intrusive thoughts, again, negative not being you have to be positive, but they negatively impact your quality of life, your daily quality of life, is you want to keep track of those intrusive thoughts and behaviors. Once you identify them and you become aware of them, you want to ask yourself very, very generally, what would I need to believe to where these thoughts, behaviors, and awarenesses would no longer be relevant? And I mean, what would I need to believe about myself, men, women, relationships, my needs and wants being met? Okay, so for instance, if you are constantly worried about um, third parties, okay, Good beliefs to address that would be I'm beginning to realize that I never have to compete for somebody's love, respect, or commitment. And I'm only attracted to people that are genuinely committed and loving towards me. Okay. And think about those two beliefs. If I hold beliefs like that, then I'm not going to be worried about a third party because the type of people that I would be attracted to wouldn't be entertaining third parties. And second, I would never feel like I have to compete for somebody's love, attention, respect, or commitment. Okay. So you want to think about these things very, very, very generally from a belief standpoint. Once you identify them, those are the statements you want to meditate on daily. Okay. And I would suggest you address them, you address those intrusive thoughts and behaviors before they arise. So when you wake up in the morning, do something for your nervous system, something like breath work, and then sit down and record those statements on something like Parrot. It's a free app you can download on your phone. Okay. Because there might be quite a few that you come up with and loop them for 5 to 10 minutes and leave enough time in between each statement for you to silently repeat it and visualize it. The visualizing it is important in my opinion because you don't want to just keep it within the conscious realm. You want to visually imprint these beliefs down into your mind, and with enough repetition, your mind will accept it. And what happens is those intrusive thoughts, worries, and compulsive behaviors begin to just naturally dissolve and go away because you start to take on a new identity. It would also be really good if you're using a nighttime recording that also has very similar beliefs or affirmations in it. So not only are you getting that into your mind while you're sleeping, but you're also addressing it, while you're awake and really hitting it twice or sometimes more to really overcome these negative intrusive thoughts and behaviors that aren't allowing you to perceive your reality in an accurate way, but are also just fucking up your daily quality of life. It's not very fun to be triggered all day long and struggling with tons of intrusive thoughts and behaviors. Okay. Other than that, random little thoughts and like annoyances and the annoyances of life, not a big deal. Brush it off. Okay. Some of y'all are tripping out way too much over like the thoughts that you're having. And that is where I would, you need to develop a trusting relationship with yourself, right? Like it's becoming easier for me to control my thoughts. It's becoming easier for me to devalue unwanted thoughts in my mind. It's becoming easier for me to regulate my state of being and my emotions. I'm creating a relationship with myself where I can express my emotions in a healthy way. I'm beginning to believe in my ability to overcome challenges and create solutions. I'm beginning to believe in my ability to confront perceived challenges and create solutions. So essentially, you get into a belief system where even if something, negative comes up, you're in a belief system where it's not triggering, it's not causing you to shrink, it's not causing you to fall back and feel intimidated and perpetuate what's going on because you don't know how to handle it. Okay. So I hope this makes this really clear. Like you should not be fearing your thoughts. Not every single thought that you have matters. It's the ones that are consistently popping up each day that are also driving intrusive behaviors. And you may even have behaviors that you don't have thoughts associated with. So with the behaviors, look at those very objectively and ask yourself, what would I need to believe to where I would stop engaging or creating this automatic behavior? Okay. Again, think about this very generally. All right. I hope this helps. I want you to feel safe in your body, and safe in your mind, and realize again, not every single thought matters. You're not supposed to be happy 24/7. It's okay. Right? You're allowed to be annoyed. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to be sad. And sometimes when you go into those state of beings, the thoughts aren't pleasant. Okay. And so see if it's valid, right? If you're in a healthy belief system, you're going to be accurately discerning your reality and you're going to see, oh no, I'm not just having a limiting belief. I'm not just insecure. This person actually just did something that was fucked up. And the thoughts that I'm having are rational responses to what's going on. And now, because I'm upset, I need to step into a version of myself that's able to uphold boundaries and regulate my emotions in a safe way within my body and handle situations and honor myself and respect myself properly. Okay. That's really important. But if you do have limiting beliefs, then you're not going to be discerning your reality that accurately. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you all have a beautiful day or night, whatever time you watch this, and I'll see you all later.